to build, test, tune FPV. Be taking a look at the F4 Advanced Flight Controller from Get FPV. This flight controller is an F4 processor. It's CC3D based. I'll show you down here if I can find it. Yeah. It's a Revo firmware target. It's the one you want to use in Betaflight or CC3D Revolution, but I haven't had any luck using it, so I'd stick with the Revo. And they say it's says that you can use Raceflight. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, Raceflight. But I haven't tried flashing that because it's closed source. I used open source Betaflight. You can use CleanFlight too, but I'd stick with the latest and greatest Betaflight, even though Raceflight is a little bit better. But, you know. It's got all your PWM pin, or just you can straight solder them up. That's what I usually do. I don't even use the pins. If you're using a satellite, you have to wire into here the S-Bus RX1, then the 5, well, you don't use 5. Use the same as the CC3D, ground and 3.3 volt up at the top in the front, or whatever way you want to put it. Micro USB. You can use S-Bus. And the number one thing that I like most about this board is that it has this boot button. It comes in handy. A lot of these flight controllers with the boot buttons just takes the pain in the ass out of the equation. It just makes life a whole lot easier. Yeah, you get the warning light, status, power lights there. You know, it's basically like a CC3D board, just F4 processor and all the other gadgets. It's another picture of the board. And another thing I wanted to show you is that right there. You just can't beat that price. Can't even wave a stick at it. And it's a great board too. Another great feature I would like to point out, I have one here too, I'm going to flash it here in a minute to show you, is that it already has Betaflight flashed on it. So you can just hook it up, hook it in your computer, tune it the way you want, the way your quad runs, and just go. You don't even have to flash new firmware to it. I mean, you can get the upgraded version of Betaflight. I think it's 3.2 now. I haven't been on it in a while, so it might be something greater, but yeah. Here's the specifications. It's just a all-around good board. If you're starting out, you're just trying out Betaflight and you want to get a cheap board, not worried about like screwing it up, this is one that I would definitely check out. If you're new to the game, it's not like the new all-in-one, but you know, I know a lot of you guys are going with the all-in-one flight controller and power distribution board. The OSD built in, that's fine and dandy, but somebody that wants to take the time and build their quad from the ground up with everything on a budget, this is the way to go. And this is at getfpv.com. Alright, here I have it. It's on the table and fresh in the package. Show you what it comes with. Most of the times they'll send you these standoffs, or the plastic ones. They're alright. Gives you the screws, long screws for it. See, they're just hollow. Little spacers. Different sizes for different applications, whatever you want to do. Here's the board. Comes in a little styrofoam package. Voila. Look at that puppy. I love these boards. I use them in everything. Because I started out using CC3D boards and I've been hooked on them. I like messing with them, see how much I can torture them, put them to the test. But these boards, I really like them. I'm drinking my coffee here, so bear with me. Here's the little plug button. Sorry, there's a little button for your boot. Micro USB. And then you got all your receiver tabs here. The S-Bus. If you want to hook in satellite, you hook there. Spectrum satellite, you hook into the S-Bus and the ground and the 3.3 volts. And of course you have to configure that in Betaflight, whatever you want to do. I'm a Spectrum satellite guy. That's what I always use. Tried and true to it. And then these are for your ESCs, PWM. You can use the handy dandy pins they gave you, if I can find them. You have the 90-degree. Or you can do it this way if you have a lot of room. Or you could just straight solder up the ESC wires. Signal, plus, negative, positive, negative. You know. Just like a CC3 board. But it's an F4 board. And I tell you. Alright, I wanted to show you the board. Flash the firmware on it. Hold this button down. Here, hold on. That's what I like about this board. DFU. And then you go into firmware flasher. You want to click the Revo, not Revolt, not Reveneno or whatever, Revo, and then you click the newest. Shit. I uncheck all these. Then load firmware online. Then you hit the flash firmware and it'll do its thing. Alright. See, it's in bootloader mode from the boot button. Undo that, hook it back up. We'll get a COM6, well, mine's COM6, yours might be something else. Go to connect, up the board, then it's all wonky, don't worry about it. You can just leave it on the table, flat, since it's not on a quad yet. Calibrate accelerometer. Ports. If you are using a Spectrum satellite, you want to use UART 1. Because that is the UART that works for that. When you select this, it's the S-Bus RX1, that's for your satellite, and the, try to get it to focus, ground and 3.3 volts. Okay, and when you're done, save, reboot, down yonder, right down here. Configuration's basic, just like a regular board. Doesn't have a barometer. I don't know why that's even on, but whatever. You can turn it off. And Spectrum satellite, what I use. It doesn't support, zoom in here. It doesn't support PWM because it doesn't have the PWM ports. What do you want to select for any, like S-Bus? I don't know what SUMD is. Never really learned that. I stick with Spectrum satellite. So that's what I know the most. S-Bus is still cool too, but Spectrum satellite, it's this, the FPV racing. And then when you're done, save, reboot. And what I'm going to do for this build is reverse the motors. And I always do it like this because that's the way the CC3D was set up. I mean, this, not this. You know what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That just about wraps up the F4 Advanced Flight Controller from getfpv.com. Special shout out to them for sending me the board. I buy a lot of them. I don't know. They're good for beginners. If that's the route you want to go. Or you can go with the all-in-one boards. That's always the option too. And that's what everyone's going for nowadays. But if you want to build the quad from the ground up, like back in the old ways, your CC3D or NAES 32 boards, this is one of them that I would look into. It's upgraded of that. Alright. Disconnect here. Exit. So, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe. You know what to do. Enjoy.